doing 16-ounce steak. 20-ounce steak. Nice.
Hi all, my name is Scott Ashback. I'm the logistics section chief from Team 12. It's a federal team. And I have a lot of folks working for me. On this incident, we're talking about 250 people or so. The food unit is one of many different units that are working for the logistics section. It has medical, food, ground support, facilities, information technology, communications. We have a ton of stuff. It's kind of the backbone of fires. When you talk about the backbone and the support of the actual firefighter, there's nothing more than that comes closer to hitting home than food. Food's super important. We are always striving to make sure that these guys are well fed. Some of you may know of MREs, meals ready to eat. We really try to, not necessarily use those that much because it's good calories if you absolutely need them. But we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that the folks out on the line, even if they're embedded way out there for days, we will send some hot food out to them. We have a lot of different methods of feeding. We'll feed somewhere up to, this caterer right here can feed 3,000 people a day. And some folks only need a couple thousand calories. Some folks need upwards of 6,000 to 7,000 calories. There's some big folks out there and they're doing a lot of work. They need a lot of calories and they need a lot of hydration. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that they're well fed and they've got a very good nutritional profile for the stuff that, for the work that they do. Got to be good, got to be a lot. If you're stuck out on the line, we make plans for making sure that we can get food to the line. And the food to the line, how can we do that? That tends to be kind of fun, actually. We'll use ground support trucks and helicopters and anything we can to get the stuff out there. We'll put our food into something called a hot can. That comes out of our supply, and it's a sterile container that's insulated. And let's say we're having steak and mashed potatoes and vegetables. Well, we'll just put big old cans of steak and big old cans of potatoes and big old cans of vegetables. Of course, you got to have all the dessert and everything else that comes along with it. Another method that we can use for feeding is it's called paracargo. We'll work with the Reading smoke jumpers, and as long as they've got an aircraft available and they've got some jumpers available, if we said to them, we need to feed 60 people out there on the line, we'll give them a lat and long. That's a location out in the hills of where they're at. They'll actually go and do some shopping and buy steaks and the veggies and the starches and anything else that they need. We'll include everything from what we call bath in a bag. They're actually taking a shower out there with stuff that comes in a bag. And everything from, well, we used to send them the morning paper. We don't do that anymore. We send them actual internet. They can get internet out in the middle of nowhere, if you can imagine, including cell phone. We'll put all that stuff on the back of an airplane, put it on pallets, and those folks, when we use cargo, they still have parachutes that were in use during Vietnam. It's very interesting. Or even a couple of them go back to World War II. They're really old. They just keep replacing the cord. But yeah, they'll get that stuff up into an airplane, push it out of the airplane, about 300 feet off the deck. And we'll give them the stove, the propane, all the stuff that's necessary to make the meals. And they'll get together, and sometimes I've heard them out there trying to do a chili cook-off where the leaders are the judges of the chili cook-off, and everybody gets a chance to come in and have a great meal in the middle of nowhere. And the morale is super, super high. I'm really sensitive to making sure that the firefighters are well fed, and hydrated. And I will typically have somebody come back to me saying, hey, that meal that you served us out in the hills, that was fantastic, and morale was really, really boosted. But that's it in a nutshell. We do feed a lot of folks out here. Another thing I'd like to talk about is our recycling program. When we have 3,000 people coming to a small community, we're going to really hit that local landfill, and it becomes extremely important for us to make sure that we're cognizant of how much we're putting in the landfill. So we bring a recycler into the base of operations. We actually hire them. They take care of recycling cardboard, plastics, aluminum, all the typical stuff that you would think about recycling. But they also take care of composting. So we'll bring everything, we'll bring food in that's not necessarily edible for humans, and it becomes feed for farms, or it ends up in the soil and it gets composted. We will also take food that is edible, that's packaged, and but we're not using it right now, and it goes to feed local homeless or people that have been relocated. Everything that we're trying to do is all about sustainable operations, and there's a new idea all the time, and it goes from solar lights and solar power to making sure that we're recycling our plastics. And to date, the program has diverted more than 2 million pounds of cardboard and plastics and everything from local landfills, and it makes a big difference. They also end up getting money for that. I mean, there's aluminum and there's plastic bottles. There's money that comes back. That money goes back to the local community. All the firefighters are on board with it. We hand them out blue bags when they go out to the line, and we tell them, hey, back all your trash. That's what we tell them to do. They bring all their trash back, so they're light on the land. And if it's a recycle situation, they put that stuff inside that blue bag, bring it back to the recycle center, and it gets recycled or reused. Multiple locations will have these cans that are laid out here, and there's our plastic and aluminum bottles and recycle and landfill, and there's another one for our composting. And we do have folks that will go through every one of those trash bags, and they separate that stuff. Paid to do, and yes, they have protection on their hands and everything else. They're very well protected, but they go through that trash, and we easily divert more than half of what we used to when we used to come to town. We make a big impact when we come to town, but we want to try our best to make it so that we leave the location better than we found it.
You get to go outside and be in some places that most people can never access.
It's important to protect these places because that is our legacy. Those are our national treasures.